The world as we know it is full of many things, but what gets lost in the shuffle at times is just how much a single thing that can be seen as innocuous costs. Because trust us, when it comes to making things expensive, people are more than happy to just go all out and make them expensive, for whatever reason. Anyway, you might be surprised at some of the things that do indeed cost millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, or even billions. So allow us to show you 11 of the world's most expensive items. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 11. Roycenaers Magnetic Floating Bed, $1.6 million. The Roycenaers Magnetic Floating Bed is truly an incredible and innovative piece of furniture. It was when architect Jan Jaap Roycenaer collaborated with Bakker Magnetics that this piece of furniture was created. It took the makers 6 years to build the bed, which uses repulsive magnetic forces to levitate it. It can float 40 centimeters above the floor, withstanding a load of up to 900 GMS. Granted, we wouldn't want to personally test out this floating bed for ourselves, but you can see why it would be an eye-catching sight in an office or even a house. It's a conversation starter and something that you honestly just don't see every day. Whether it's worth $1.6 million is up to you, but if you do get it, you'll definitely have something that a majority of your friends and family won't have, that's for sure. Not to mention a unique experience in regards to sleeping.
These magnetic fields are also used in MRI scans, and as long as you don't have any steel or piercings, there will be no problem. It doesn't influence your body at all.
Number 10. Insure.com domain name, $16 million. Let's jump down to something that is 10 times the cost of the last item, the domain name for the site Insure.com. Now, you might be wondering, why in the world would a domain name be that costly? The answer is intent. In this case, the intent of the site is named that way for a reason. It's easy to remember, and as the site page shows, it's the #1 resource for insurance. Domain names aren't just something to have, they're meant to be something that'll go and be catchy or memorable in order to bring people to the brand. Insure.com says a lot while saying very little, and you don't have to wonder what the site is about while you're typing it. That kind of value is money, literally, and that's why it costs so much. Number 9. Gold-plated Bugatti Veyron, $10 million US. We'd be kind of foolish for not having at least one car on this list, and we'll have another very soon, but we thought we'd start it off with one that just screams expensive. Because this is the Bugatti Veyron, which for the record is already an expensive car model, that just so happens to be gold-plated. Yeah, for real. The car looks slick, you can't deny that, and not surprisingly, a lot of people have had it over the years. One of the owners includes Flo Rida and some Middle Eastern billionaires. It goes from 0 to 100 in 2.8 seconds and looks like a ghost at that speed. We recommend though going and getting a car that is more practical and not exactly as gaudy as this is, because if you get it, you're just begging for it to be stolen. Just saying. Number 8. Garçon à la Pipe, $104 million. When it comes to art, it's always a subjective thing whether you like it or not. After all, what might be appealing to you is not appealing to someone else. Yet when a piece of art does appeal to them, they tend to go overboard and buy it, like with this painting that sold for $104 million. Made by the genius Pablo Picasso in 1905, the painting is that of a Parisian boy holding a pipe. You might be going, that's it? That's all the meaning behind the painting? And yeah, it is. That's part of the reason why it's so mind-boggling how art is sold at times. Because this isn't even one of Picasso's most famous paintings. It's just one of them, yet it sold for 9 figures. Wow. Number 7. 1962 GTO Ferrari, $48.4 million. And back to cars we go. In terms of the most expensive car ever sold at auction, that would go to the 1962 GTO Ferrari that was sold at RM Sotheby's as part of the Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance. For the record, this was an auction that was flooded with top-notch cars and rides. And yet this GTO Ferrari came out on top when it sold for $48.4 million, making it officially the most expensive car ever sold at auction. This very special Ferrari was only made by the company 36 times, and was mainly a racing car, but over time its rarity brought in more people to want it. In fact, some even refer to this car as the holy grail of cars. Another reason this car sold for so much was that it is considered one of the most beautiful and elegant cars ever made, which says a lot about the car given that it was made over 66 years ago. If you were to get this car, it would say a lot about you, that's for sure. Although part of it would be, man, that guy had money to burn. Number 6. The Antilia, $2 billion. Let's talk about our first billion-dollar item, shall we? In particular, it's a mansion so ridiculous that it's actually 27 floors tall. And someone did indeed want to live in a building like this. This place is owned by Mukesh Ambani, an Indian business tycoon who is worth billions. And he used that money to get the biggest residential property in the world. It's known as the Antilia. It cost around $2 billion and has 27 floors. It's so big that it takes a staff of 600 to maintain it to a good quality. The neighbors hate it, for the record. Number 5. Manhattan parking spot, $1 million. From a ridiculous house to a ridiculous thing to spend $1 million on, let's head to Manhattan to talk parking space. Buying a house is easier than buying a parking spot there. The most expensive parking spot in the world costs a whopping $1 million. There are 10 parking spots in a luxury condo built by 42 Crosby Street in Manhattan's posh Soho district. And the price of each of the parking spots that houses the single car is $1 million. Now, obviously some people would say that this is a robbery of some kind, and yet it's there, and yes, someone does own these spots. Number 4. The Pink Perfect, $23 million. Jewelry is another one of those things that you know they're worth something, but are they worth what other people claim? In terms of the Pink Perfect, more than likely. Auctioned at Christie's, New York, this 14-karat perfect pink diamond fetched a whopping $23 million. The reason it's so special isn't just the size and quality of the diamond, it's the color. Colored diamonds are very, very rare, and people will go all out to get them and wear them on their hands, especially when it comes to diamonds like the Pink Perfect. Number 3. Leonardo da Vinci's Salvator Mundi, $450 million. We previously showed you a painting from the legendary Picasso, but now let's show you one from Leonardo da Vinci that absolutely broke the bank. In 2017, Saudi Prince Badr bin Abdullah bin Mohammed bin Farhan Al Saud bought the Salvator Mundi, Savior of the World, at a Christie's auction for $450.3 million US. It set the record for the most expensive painting ever sold in a public auction.
$400 million is the bid, and the piece is sold.
Just goes to show you that, once again, art sells when it's the right piece. Number 2. Falcon Supernova iPhone 6 Pink Diamond, $48.5 million. Yes, this is real. It's very sad, but it's very real. The world's most expensive diamond-studded phone comes in the form of the Falcon Supernova iPhone 6 Pink Diamond Edition, with a price tag of $48.5 million. This phone is just another iPhone 6, but with a platinum plating and a huge pink diamond at the back. Why would such a thing need to exist? Because someone deemed it necessary. And if you thought that was bad, wait until you see Number 1. The History Supreme, $4.8 billion. Yachts are everywhere if you know where to look. But someone found a way to make a yacht just plain dumb in its over-the-top style, and its name is the History Supreme. Coming in at $4.8 billion, the History Supreme is indeed the most expensive yacht in the world or ever made. The yacht itself is 100 feet long, and it took over 3 years to make it. And that's just the boat itself. That's not talking about all the rich and overly expensive things that are inside the boat. Like what? How about bottles of wine with diamonds in them and the skeleton of a T-Rex? There is no reason this boat should exist, and yet it does. And someone did indeed spend over $4 billion trying to make this the most lavish yacht in history. They did succeed in that part at least. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the various items of the world that cost a lot of money? Which of these items were you the most surprised about in regards to their price? Can you believe that certain people are willing to pay this much for certain items? Which items do you feel tempted to get if you had such money? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.